Welcome to the order board summary tutorial. This is actually really more of a detailed dive into order boards. First, we're going to go over the main dashboard where you can see a summary of your orders. And then we're going to go directly into the order board itself and see the overview and how that works. And then finally, the third thing is to go into an actual order and look at the details for orders. When you log into Fusionware, the very first thing that you see is the dashboard. And this is centered around your orders. You can see here on this tab, it says Main Dashboard. And we have a shipping summary, and this is based on today. And you can toggle it back if you want to look at previous days. But this can show you your commodity, the origin. It can show you what is marked as shipped, your total, and if anything's arrived. And then we'll bring that back to today. We can see our active orders, those that are pending, and those that are in booking status that we need a carrier for, and those that have been booked, those that are in transit, and then those that are delivered. We also have ones that may be put on hold or are ready to invoice. So depending on the employee and their role, there's different things that they can key in with this dashboard. And then we have an analysis, a 3-year history of loads or orders per month. And this goes, in this case, we have 2019 and 2020 and 2021. And so you can see in this graph on a real-time basis how things are going. And as we scroll down, there's kind of some projections and then some raw grade and cook sample stuff if you're a chip customer and you do chip potatoes. We also have the ability to filter. You can come in here and filter by your vendor or grower, and then also by customers. And then you can come down here and look at your shipping summary based on your commodity. And once again, you can adjust that by date. So a few functions with our main dashboard. Now we're going to go into our boards and order board. And this is what it looks like when you hop in here. It defaults to today's date. And we can advance that by pressing the green forward or backward button. We can also clear all of our filters, or we can clear the dates. So if we want to look at everything, we don't want to look at just today, we can quickly click on that clear date, or we can just toggle that forward and it's going to set those as today's date. So we're going to clear that. We also have over a dozen items that we can search for within an order from the order board. And so sometimes a carrier will call and say, hey, I'm calling on this order. It's supposed to go here, but they don't necessarily have the order number. So like here, it was Doug Andrus. So I just started typing in Doug AN and was able to search by that. Let's say we're looking, it's a TBD carrier. We want to look at all those that are, we haven't assigned yet. So there's a lot of different options in there. I'm going to clear that search. And we're going to go up here. Anyways, there's just a lot of different options. We're going to make sure all the filters are cleared. And starting here at the top, we can see where we can select multiple orders if we want to do some batch updates. But here at the top, we can sort by these columns that either have, this one has the blue arrow, so that means it's being sorted by orders, or we can go to one of these others and make these the priority depending on our role. If we want a delivery date, the PO, the carrier, and then we can see this is the column for PO numbers next to the order numbers. And then this is our order status. And here's all the different statuses our order can be put into. And then these are the types of orders, whether it's delivered grower, broker freight, delivered carrier, FOB, or it's just a process order. And then we have our commodities. And so these are all things that we can sort by as well. So we have all these Russ, that's short for russet, and then I have these set up as yellow onions down at the bottom. So if you deal with multiple commodities, and then we have sales order, PO, or if it's a transferred order. We can also adjust how many we see on a page at a time. We have our carrier column, ship date, origin, destination, delivery date, and then our net weights and our freight rate. If we want to put in a suggested rate, like a low and a high, we have our product summary column, and we have a rate summary, and then if there's any comments that are next to that. We also have our salesperson, and we can do a sort by salespersons, or we can do one by booked by person. So if you have someone booking your loads that's in-house. So we're going to go through here on one of these orders. We have all these items in here. We can see if we've actually sent invoices or bill of ladings or different items. It's actually showing that those have been sent. And anywhere we see a send SMS, that is to send the truck driver. If we've put their cell phone number in the order, we can actually send them a direct message. Hey, you're ready to load. And then here we have, for quality control purposes, frozen food customers use these especially. You can, there's the quality control tab. And then if we want to load the truck. And then here's some forms. A very powerful tool with Fusionware to customize things the way you need it. This one's a shipping checklist. You want it filled out for every order. You can do that, and it's tied directly to the order. It's very powerful. It's a newer feature for Fusionware. But this forms engine we have, fully customizable, can do calculations, and a whole host of other things. And we can customize it. It's a drag and drop features, and then we can go in and there's a whole training on this as well on YouTube if you want to check it out. But it dives deeply into how all of this works. So back to our order board. And in this column where we have the options drop down, we can change the status without having to go into the order, and we can just change it. Like we want to switch that over. You see where that toggled blue and in transit. Now it's telling us we don't have the carrier or an actual freight rate. So it's giving us that little warning. If we want to create a template that we're going to make multiple orders every day, and on here and on hold, if we want to see our on hold comments, so that was an order that was put on hold. Well, the truck was delayed, waiting for a new delivery date and time. And it says who the user was that actually put that comment on there. I'm going to close that out. Let's go to back to this one that was booked. So we also have, we can add order notes, and let's go back here. And then we can also move this into trouble status, put a service failure on it. And then actually it requires us to put a comment. What's the reason? It's customer, they rejected the load, and we're going to put in some failure notes if we want. We can see that SF tag that's now been applied. And we can search by this as well. Initially it pops that up under the origin. And that's a quick, easy way to know that you did it. But if there were notes in there on that service failure, let's see, I think there's some on this one. So yeah, truck broke down, waiting for repair. And then there's so many ways that whatever works best for your company, you can just flag the order. But here we can also cancel, delete. And then also we have quick access to documents. So those are all things. A lot of things we can do in the order board. We can also see, so this shows that if we have the truck driver and dispatch status, but you can click on a lot of these different items without having to go into the order. This is going to give us our timestamps, like on the origins and the destinations. And then we can also come in and quickly see a summary there on those rate calculations. And so, and also if we have some notes, some comments, those are going to show up there as well. But as I hover over here, we can see, just without having to drill down in, we can just quickly go through here and look at that actual profit and those details. But let's go into this order 029, and this is going to be the one we're going to play with for a few minutes here. Now here's our order number. Let's say we get a call, we're in the shipping department. Wherever you're at in FusionWare, you get a call, hey, I'm calling about this order, I need to pick up. You can plug that in. That's always in that header. Order number shows up there. Wherever you're at in FusionWare, plug that order number in. It's going to take you directly in there. Now let's say we want to quickly change this order number. It may not be very apparent, but you can click on that and change that. And of course, we have permissions set up around FusionWare and based on your role. And these things like being able to change order numbers and changing statuses, a lot of these things that can be controlled per user. So here we have order status. We have the options to move it into different statuses in our documents. And then there's a feature, typically an admin feature, that allows you to force change the status of this. Say you want to move it out of paid in full. But here's our order detailed section. It's going to show us our customer, the origin. We have our destination. If we have a PO number, we can put that in there. And we can dive right into this customer too. If we're not sure on a few things, we can just do that, and we can just press the back arrow. We don't necessarily need to click order board or type in the order number. If we just click back, it's going to take us back in here. So same thing with destination. We're going to make sure the salesperson and the book by person, if you're using that those are set right. Our ship dates, delivery date. And then here is an accounting summary that's going to show us our cost and our sales and our profit. It's basically a profit and loss statement on this order specifically, and it's going to give us a percentage. So you may be trying to hit certain targets, but this is another thing if they don't have an accounting role set up or different things that can be locked down. Here are our carrier details. We see here we have the carrier. This one's Doug Andrus Trucking. We put down all sorts of contact information. This is where the driver name, phone number needs to be put in there. Anywhere we see that green cell phone button, we can message the driver directly. So the dispatch date, if we say we're calling a truck in, it's going to tell us how far they are based on the zip code. This is saying they're both in Idaho Falls, so this is saying they're a mile apart. We can select the trailer type, and then here we have our load details. How many pounds and how many miles to this destination. So that mileage is an important number. We'll look at that in a second. But here we can see this is going to California, going to Colton, and it's 863 miles. So I've put in other items on this order detail, the suggested rate that we want to get on this order, and if we had a max rate. And then an unloading fee, we can select that as well. So that'll show up on the carrier confirmation. It's $150 and the carrier is going to pay it. Our seal number, trailer temp, and then there's a custom field, and this will show up in the shipping board. It's not going to show up here in the order board, but our comments that are attached to documents will. So down here in the products and fees, we can toggle this advanced options. And that's going to blow this out so that we can see who our vendor is on this order. Vendor being like the packing shed or the grower, wherever these potatoes are coming from. And these came directly out of a field, or if they came out of a storage, and what actual lot that is. And then our ordered quantity, ship quantity, delivered quantity, and then if there's an adjustment that's needed. And then what we're actually invoicing. So we can minimize that And then our freights and fees, so accounts payable items, accounts receivable items can all go down in here. And in this case, I put our freight for Doug Andrews Trucking. If we want to delete it or add another line item. Some of these documents will not print without having a freight fee item in there. So locations tab, this is going to show us our origin. And that's our pickup number, is our order number in our system. We have our pickup date and all those different times and dates. If you need to track those, you can, and you can just timestamp them if you want. So I'm going to delete out this just to show you really quick. Let's delete that and click arrived. Well, I already had something in there, so I'm just going to click it again. So you can just double click it to clear it out and put it in the updated time. I'm going to change that back, but that way you can speed up that process. So this automatically is calculating based on that mileage. Must depart by. It's just doing some basic math here, and it's giving a suggested time. Now this is our destination. If we want to put in our destination PO number, confirmation, all of that, we could update that unloading fee there as well. And then time stamping, when they unloaded. So products and fees, but that's the products and fees is the default. But here in the comments, this is where we select which documents we want these comments to show up on. So in this case, carrier confirmation, you can see that comment, contact Elaine with questions. And if we wanted a sales information or something to show up on the invoice that's not going to be on every single one, but a specialty thing, you can manually do that. And then here's our documents. So this shows time-stamped from when this was sent out or printed. So this is handy, like in the case of the bill of lading. You can print out the original BOL with the driver's signature that was printed out at that time. And then you can also attach additional documents if you need to upload them directly from your computer, and it's all going to start here with that order. Now here's our order log. Every change that's made to this order, you can see we're time stamping these. Really handy. Who did this on the order? Who keeps messing up the order? You're going to be able to drill in here and see who's doing that and at what time they're doing that. Then we have our comments tracking, when comments were made, location date change or change log, and then when payments came in. So people in cells are definitely, that's going to be really handy. And then our traceability function. Here's going to show our product, the grower, the field, and then the details on that, on this order. But very crucial, there's a recall. Like last year, there's a recall on cabbages. If these items are filled in, you're going to be able to quickly go into this order, go to traceability, and say, okay, we need to go and find all these orders that have this same block ID because they need to be recalled as well. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you. Here's our ERP summary. Say we need to connect to your accounting system. FusionWare is not a full out accounting system. So that's where the ERP, we can connect with that. Now this accounting summary is going to show our AR and AP items that are tied in with this order, and has it broken down. So back to products and fees, and if we were applying a payment and had multiple payments coming in, we can put those in there and that resend to ERP. If we have some issues, this doesn't automatically go into, say, QuickBooks, these accounting details, you can do that. And then also the forms, you can do forms here. And then we have other summary items of the commodity and sales type, but we can also minimize, hide these things if we've got a smaller screen, or they're just things that don't pertain to you as a user. You can go ahead and adjust these to how you want it to look and function best for you. So back into our order board, and we just covered the order details. And before that, we went through the order board and also our main dashboard. And this has been an order board summary tutorial.